Okay, maybe because I don't know. Okay. Anyway, okay. So that I'm sorry. There's Ugyang and Pyeonggyang. So did you read the story to somebody? No, nobody. Nobody takes me seriously, but I shouldn't be offended. And Sunju. Okay. And Changmin. Right. Okay. And okay, Junyang. Okay, how about you? Did you read the story to somebody? Okay, who did you read it to? You read it to your friend, and female friend or male friend? Oh, that's not fun. Okay, never. I won't ask. That must be just embarrassing, but that's good that you did it anyway. And Unnim, okay, did you read the story to somebody? Sorry. Okay, well at least she's honest about it. I appreciate you guys' honesty. And Minhee, okay, good. And I'll just ask a few people. Insun, okay, and Hyunjin. Okay, did you read the story to somebody? No, okay, all right, good. Well, we have honesty. And Changhyun. Now, on Friday, were you in Isu Station? 12:30, right? Okay, good. Because no, I don't have some special ability. What happened was I was in Isu Station. I was walking, and I thought, isn't that him? And I was walking, and he will say hi to me. I'm his professor walking 5 meters, 4 meters, 3 meters, 2 meters. Oh, there he goes. Oh, okay. So I walked right by you. There's a huge corridor in Isu Station, like 40 meters. You're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but you didn't see me? Oh, that's what I figured. Okay, I didn't think you would ignore me, but I was pretty sure in the city there are 12 million people, and I just happened to see you in Isu Station, but right by me. But I thought he just didn't see me. As you know, I look like most other people in Seoul. I'm completely similar, so I don't really stick out at all. So what can you say? Okay, so that's let's see. Hyunjin, I just got Changhyun. I'm sorry, I just talked to you. And Eunjang. Okay, and did you read the story? No, she didn't. Okay, well, at least she's honest. And Yang Hwan? Yes. Okay, Yang Hwan, good. And Taeryong? Yes. Okay, Derek, did you read the story to anyone? Yes, who?
To my sister.
To your sister? And how old is your sister?
12-2.
12-2? You mean 22?
Sorry, 22.
Really? And what was her reaction?
Hey, bro, what are you doing? She talked a lot of bad words.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's not supposed to happen. Okay, and Hyungwoo is right here. Okay, I want to ask him. Harim, so did you read the story to someone? No, nobody. Okay, well, all right, good. And Sora, okay, let's see. And Junghoon? Yeah. Junghoon, okay, and I bet he did. He would. Okay, and Sujang, I'm sorry, Suyang. Okay, did you read the story to someone? No, okay, she didn't. Okay, and Jungmin? Okay, Jungmin's right here. And Haemin? Haemin, and did you read the story to someone? Who?
My next class friend.
Oh, your friend. Okay, and what was your friend's reaction?
Just smile.
Just like, oh, okay, you're crazy, right? Like that one. Okay, good. And then Zhaoling, I saw just come in. And Subin, did you read the story to someone? No, it's too embarrassing, right? You guys are too old for that. All right, good. So a couple business things before we get started here are our final exam. And we have 2 happy choices for our final exam. And I'm pretty sure I have this right. Is that correct? Okay, good. Yeah. So for our final exam, technically, Hanyang University final exams, they start next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, something like, but be quiet, just listen, okay? So what we'll do is we'll do this democratically. We'll have 2 choices. We could just have the exam next week, and this means this day you would have free to study for your other exams. So we could have our exam next week, a week early, or next week we could have regular class, and on the 19th we could have our final exam during the regular exam week. I know it's a tough decision. Think about it. So our two choices are have our final exam next week. Choice 2, have the final exam in 2 weeks. This means 2 days of class. This means just one exam and have this week free. So just think about it for a minute or two. Although I think I knew the answer. Okay, and who do we have? We have 6. I think, yeah, we probably have enough people. So choice number 1, who would like to have final exam next week, a little bit early? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And is it a hand up or no? No, okay, just has his hand like this. So it looks like 12. Wow, it's close. And who would like to have their final exam in 2 weeks? Really? Wow, I'm surprised. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Jeez, all right. So it's Monday, it's early. Some people are coming late, so we'll check again a little bit later, but it's a tie. It's a lock, so we'll have to figure this one out. So we'll get started in a little bit here. Let's do a little of this here. Talk about, talk about feelings before. Let's see, and we do the body parts. All right, good. So we'll do a little candy game. The topic is about the eyes. Okay, and in English, there are lots of things about eyes. We believe that if you see a person's eyes, you can know their feeling. You can know what they're thinking. We have a proverb or idiom. We said the eyes are something, something. It means you can know a person's thought by looking into their eyes. What is that idiom? We say the eyes are the to the So 2 words. The eyes are the to the So what are those 2 words? If you look into somebody's eyes, you know their feeling, you know their heart. Really? Wow, I thought everybody knew that. Okay. Okay, so the eyes are the So this one is made of glass. We have them here. You can see right through it. So the first word is also Microsoft operating system. If you know the answer, raise. Okay. Window. Okay, so the eyes are the windows. Okay, and what do we got here? Ooh. Okay. The eyes are the windows to your spirit, your mind, your heart, your really? Soul, that's right. So the eyes are the window to the soul. Okay, good. And oh, he's got a full of sugar there. Okay, good. And okay. And also about our eyes. Eyes have different parts. So there's these 2 kinds of hair around the eye. This one above each eye is called a eyebrow. That's right. She didn't raise her hand, but we'll give it to her anyway. Eyebrow. And let's see. There's something a little bit better. Okay. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the eyebrow. And also there's another kind of hair growing from the top and bottom of your eye. If you're a princess, they should be very long and beautiful like Audrey Hepburn. So what do you call the hair coming out of? Yeah, we call that your eyelash. Eyelashes are upper and lower eyelashes. Okay, and let's see what we got here. And there's something, oh, wow, it's a little bit cheap, but what can you do? We'll go to the eyelashes. And when we look at people, everybody has a different standard. We're very subjective. Maybe if you look at somebody, you say, oh, this person is beautiful. I say, no, I don't think so. Everybody has a different idea of beauty. That's another idiom in English. What is that? We have an expression, a proverb. We say the... not exactly. Okay, that's right. We say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The question is, and what has it got there? Oh, geez, this one's smashed. It's miruku, but it's smashed to hell, so probably don't want this one. E-Mart candy. Okay, do we have anything that's not E-Mart candy? I swear we do. Okay. Well, it's not E-Mart candy. It's a little bit better. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, and finally, beholder. The question is, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What's a beholder? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if you can explain. Yeah.
The person who has the idea.
Yeah, well, no, not somebody. It has the word hold, but it's not related to holding. He's close. He's a kind of person who. Beholder means somebody who's watching or seeing or looking. That's what that means. So behold is not about holding. All right, good. And let's see, what about eyes? And also the eye has its own parts. Inside the middle of your eye, there's a little black circle. So when the room is dark, it gets big. If the room is light, it gets smaller. So this little black circle, it has a name also. This one has two meanings. One is a student. The other is the black circle in your eye. That's right, pupil. So the pupil is the little black circle in the middle of your eye. And let's see. I'm just going to go at random here. I hope you don't mind. E-Mart candy, grape scented candy. And we'll just do a few more of these before I get started. Do wrestling moves, right, and okay, yeah, why don't we just give these out? So why don't we do it this way? Just pass the bag around. Everybody take one or two, otherwise it's going to take all day. The future. Okay, and for homework, our homework was to read The King and the Moon and read the Guess How Much I Love You to your friend or your little sister or your mom or anybody. Did anybody read this story to their mom? Nobody? Or their father? No? Okay, probably mothers really like that, but not so much. So a couple sets of questions. So real quickly, were there any questions about this story? Guess How Much I Love You. No, not so much. Okay, so we'll move on. And the other story we read for homework was The King and the Moon. So look at page, it says 38, The King and the Moon. It's about halfway through. Okay, and The King and the Moon, I know everybody read this for homework, so did you have any questions about the story? No, okay, so what we'll do is before we start our discussion, because you need to recall the memory of the story, I'll give you maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes to review the story because you already read it. So I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes to review the story. Then we'll have a discussion about it. Okay, and actually there's 2 sets of questions. One is for the King and the Moon. The other is for the Sneetches. Don't worry about the Sneetch questions. We'll get to those later today. So we have these questions about... we have the questions which will be on the screen, which you also have. So if we go through these, what kind of ruler is the king? And by what kind, I mean, is he good? Is he effective? Is he corrupt? What is the quality of him? And wait a minute. Oh, and then I think there's a typing error. It says, how do you this? It doesn't make any sense. So I think that should be, how do you know this if he's good or bad? So I think he's a good king because it says on page 2, top, it says right here, or I think he's not so good because on the 5th page of the story, it shows the king is doing this one. So you can say, how do you know this one? Here, the environment. You think that the story has nothing to do with modern politics or the environment. There's a little bit of something. It could be related to the environment. So question 2. Question 3 is pretty easy. Number 4, by obeying the king, are the soldiers being good or being bad? The next one, talking about in the story, the king climbs up the platforms and then he falls. Fall is kind of what we call wordplay. It has a double meaning or 2 meanings. So what is the meaning of fall? There's physically falling, but also as a ruler or a king, the word fall has a different meaning. So why fall? That's an interesting choice of words. We talked about real and metaphorical. Metaphorical means it's a symbol or a metaphor. I think the rest, let me see. Okay, so I think these questions are pretty easy. So I'll give you maybe 5 minutes or so. Just go through, answer each question by yourself or make some simple notes. And then after that, we'll talk. So don't talk yet. I'll give you about 5 minutes to answer the questions by yourself. Sorry, I didn't say that very well. One more time, I'll give you the choice. So you guys, are you ready to start talking, discussing, or do you want more time to work quietly? More time, really? Oh, that's great. Okay, so I'll give you maybe 3 minutes, 4 more minutes to think about it. I think this one, think about your own country. Who are some leaders and public figures who have fallen? So leaders, you know, could be a president, a politician, a king, queen, like this one. But what is a public figure? What's meant by a public figure? Public figure is simply a famous person, a celebrity. They don't have to be A-list or B-list. There's the novelist, the weird guy. Where's he from? He's on Iwei-su, so he's not really an A-list celebrity, but he's a public figure. Everybody knows his face, they know his work. So a public figure is just a famous person that everybody knows about, like a celebrity. So I'll give you maybe 3 more minutes to answer these questions by yourself. Right, so this is very important. So we talked about in this story, the king, he falls, literally, he physically falls to the earth. But for a politician or leader or public figure, I might say to fall from power. So they're very powerful, and then somehow a bad thing happens. Then they have no power. So somebody falls from power, they lose their power. So for example, the last king of the Joseon, he was, what was his name? Was it Taejo? The last Joseon king. Uh-huh. Thank you. Okay, so that's Sunjo. Okay. Uh-huh. Jo. Jong, I'm sorry. Okay, it makes sense. Sunjong. Okay. So specifically talking about King Sujong, the last king of the Joseon era, he had some power, he lost the power. However, in this case, it wasn't so much his fault. He didn't do a stupid thing. How did he lose his power? Or he didn't lose his power? Okay, good. So, and by the way, when was this? When was he the last king? It would have been 1908, 1910? Yes? 1908. Okay, that's what I thought. So he had some power, and then he lost the power from maybe Japan. This is, I'm getting a little bit weak on my history here. So in this case, he fell from power. However, it wasn't because of stupidity or abuse or doing a bad thing. It was change in politics. It was Japan. Still, it's a fall from power, even though it's not his fault. It doesn't have to be. It could be because of somebody else. So here's a famous case. You can look at any country all over the world. Always leaders, they go up and they go down. So here, talking about two kinds of falling. Number one is to fall physically, for real. The other one is a fall from power. Someone has power, then they lose the power or influence. So for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes in our groups, you can answer the questions, you can share your opinions, especially about the discussion questions. Some of these, they have different answers. Some of them, they're just pretty much facts. So I'll give you about 10 minutes, answer together.
How is the king's behavior related to environmental policy?
You want to reach the peak and like single minding.
He has
Many.
he can chop out.
Gathers energy.
Keep the energy. Keep.
So what question are you guys on? Number four. Okay, I was going to ask about this one because soldiers have a special job. What is a soldier's job or mission or code? Soldiers have to what? What is the purpose of a soldier? Protect the king. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so good. But now in Korea there's no king, so who do the soldiers protect in modern days? Yeah, they protect the people. So here, if you look at it this way, in the old way, they protected the king. Here, the soldiers, if their job is to protect the people, do they protect the people? They don't really protect the people. So these days, according to a democracy, the soldiers should protect the people. Here, they're not protecting the people. In fact, they're cutting down the trees. They just listen to the king. So it's not really democratic, is it? So yeah, you got it. What's the other one? Okay, so before our break, let's answer some of these questions. The first one, the king, is he a good ruler? No, not. He's kind of corrupt, he's selfish, he's greedy. Most importantly, he doesn't care about the people, he cares about himself. What's up with the environment? How is this related to the environment these days? I heard many groups say the same thing. Anybody? Anyone? No. People are saying he cut down the whole forest, and the forest is trees. Trees, they convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. If you have too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the heat gets locked in, the global temperature increases. So in theory, he's increasing global warming, which is a lot of leaders, they do the same thing. They don't care about the environment. Let me see. How about the soldiers? This is interesting. Are they doing a good job or bad job following the king? Okay, so they're doing a bad job, he says. So soldiers, what is their job? A soldier's job is to defend, to protect who? The king. So in the old days, the soldiers only had to protect their king. Here they're doing, well, are they doing a good job? They let the king do something stupid. So yes and no, but do they protect the people? So in a democracy, the soldiers don't protect just the king, they protect the people. Here, this is not democracy, this is more dictatorship, which is interesting. About the falling, we don't have to worry about this one. This second to the last question, there's no real name in here. Why doesn't the author use the king's real name? He doesn't say King Louis, King Henry. He doesn't use a real king's name. He just says the king. Why doesn't he say King Louis or King Henry? Why not a specific king, just king?
In order for us to think about our situation, and then we can think about our situation by the story.
That's good. So if we do it this way, it could be any king, any time, any place. It's generic. It's universal. That's good. There's one other reason too.
I think at that time he wanted to criticize the real king.
Right.
He's his real king, but if we criticize the king, maybe he is caught or killed.
That's right, that's right. So the author, they want to criticize the real king, but if they do, the king will say, off with his head, and they'll be dead. So the author will be killed by the king. So as a matter of self-protection. So the next question, there are actually many places all over the world that had the same thing. So if you can just turn off one of the set of lights. Yeah, just one of the lights, maybe the front ones. Yeah, that's perfect, thank you. So this guy, he was the president of the United States in the 60s and 70s, Richard Nixon. What happened was there was some scandal, some problem, and he kept denying it. No, I didn't do anything wrong. No, I didn't do it. No. Finally, he had to quit the presidency, so he fell from power. If he just said, you know what, I did a bad thing, I'm sorry, no problem, but he kept lying and lying and lying. This is Richard Nixon. If I go through, so do you know this guy? Yeah, this is Yu Sung-jun. So what happened, he was not a politician, he was a public figure, but what happened with him? You know the story?
He said he wanted to go to army.
Right, yeah.
But he quit. He quit our country and.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated. So what happened was he said, I want to go to the army, but my back is so bad. I can't move. Oh, my back, like this one. And then he was dancing and singing, oh, my back, oh, I can't go. And then he got kicked out of Korea. Now he's training with Jackie Chan, but he lost his power. He fell from power. This guy, do you know him? So the story of Chun Du-hwan was interesting. Now, he wasn't driven from power. He finished as president, but at the end, he lost all his influence. Nobody liked him anymore. So after he was president, do you know what he did? He went to the temple in Gangwon-do, and he lived at a temple. He chopped his own wood. He lived in a cold room for maybe a year or two. So because of this, he kind of lost his power, his influence. He was kind of like outcast. So that's another example. If I look, this is King Louis the 16th of France. What happened was the people were starving in the street. They were very hungry. He just ate cake and had luxurious food and beautiful things, building a new palace. Finally, there was a revolution. They got him and the people, they chopped his head off. So he lost his life, he lost his power. There's a couple of these. This is the last empress of China. Very similar case. The people were hungry, people were starving, but she continued to make new palaces, spend a lot of money. Now, let's see. In China, let's see. People hate her, or what is your feeling about her? Yeah, most people hate her because she kind of abused her power. This is another one. Deng Xiaoping, Chinese leader. His case is a little bit weird. He was poor, then he was up and down and up and down, and he was up again. So he fell. Somehow he got back and down. It's kind of an interesting case. There's this guy. So this is not Andre Kim. This is an entertainer. Do you know this guy? Yeah, this was Lee Hyuk-jae. So what happened was he was really popular. He was on the gag shows. He did Shrek. He did Andre Kim. He did all this stuff. And then suddenly, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he disappeared like Kang Ho-dong. You don't see him. So what happened with Lee Hyuk-jae? He lost his influence. Do you know why? Do you remember this? Yeah, he was in like some hostess bar or something like that, and he liked the girl, and he said, "Hey, do you know who I am? I'm Lee Hyuk-jae." And the people didn't care. They called the newspaper. I don't know, but is he on cable TV or just nothing these days? Sometimes is he on cable?
No, he was on MBC.
He was on NBC. Oh, just okay, just like last week or a while ago or just a long time ago. Oh, so maybe he's slowly making a comeback, but all the money he lost. So a lot of entertainers do the same thing. This is 2 Hyundai brothers. This is Jung Mong-gu and Mong-han. Thank you. So this guy is interesting. Does anybody know what happened to Jung Mong-han? Yeah. Yeah, he committed suicide. Actually, he fell, he jumped from the building, so he had a figurative and literal fall. So from a high position, he lost his power. Like this one, Kurt Cobain, he was not a politician. He was very popular, making a lot of money. Then he had a drug problem and girl problem, all kinds of problems. So he shot himself. He committed suicide. So a very famous case. So he was at the top of the world. Still, everything came crashing down because of personal problems. And then this group was talking about Park Chung-hee. They said it's a little bit complicated, but he lost his power. How did that happen? Yeah, he was shot. He was assassinated by, was it his bodyguard or who was it? His bodyguard, something like this one. So they said it's a little bit complicated, but he was very powerful, and then suddenly he was killed by somebody helping him, like this one. And okay, good. So this is a little bit sad case. This is Shim Hyung-nae. So the same thing. He was maybe B-list or C-list. Then he made Yonggari, and I don't know about this one. Then D-War. D-War, he was going up and up and up. And then the last Godfather. Did anybody see the last Godfather? Nobody? I didn't see it either. I saw the commercials. It looked funny. It was supposed to be terrible. So Shim Hyung-nae, he fell again. But do you think he'll come back? Really? It's impossible? Did he have some big problem? Like what problem? Just about the money? No? Nobody knows?
He has a sexual problem.
Oh, okay.
He had a 400 number of goals.
Oh, okay.
And then some people guess he had a sexual relationship with those goals.
Oh, okay.
And another problem is that he made the guns. He shot to his staff member.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't hear that. Okay.
And he didn't pay the money salary to the
I see. Okay.
staff.
Okay, so it'd be hard for him to come back at this stage. Maybe it's possible, but his movies, D-War was his best movie, but did you see D-War? Really? And D-War was okay? No, it's not really okay. Well, I don't know. Okay, but anyway. All right, good. So that's good. So shall we take a break? Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break. Well, he doesn't wear clothes, but the story is the same. The content is the same. So the question is, in Korean, you don't say 황제의 새 옷. Why do you call it this? Why did they change the original name to this name? Does anybody know? Yeah, the name's kind of more cool, more funny, more cute, more interesting if you change the name. There's a story called The Little Mole, which if I translate this, it's 작은 두더지. But the thing is, in Korean, they changed the name to this. So if I yeah, I have this book for my son. This is maybe 10 years ago. Any ideas? Same reason. If you have "who pooped on my head," ha 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 ho ho, look at the book. People think it's funny and they will buy the book because they think there's something funny about it. But the little mole, 작은 두더지, is kind of boring. It doesn't mean anything. So what is it? If I say that, it sounds stupid? No, it might. Sounds effective. Okay, right. Attractive. It sounds attractive. Well, I don't think it's attractive, but anyway, maybe my pronunciation. But this one, they change it. It sounds more interesting. So the naked king is actually called the emperor's new clothes. So let's move on. Any other questions about the king and the moon? No? Okay, so we'll move on and we'll talk about the Sneetches. So find the Sneetches in your book. And it's the last story in the book. So spend a couple minutes. Don't read the story. Simply look at the pictures. Flip through the story. Look at the pictures. Questions here say before reading, so look only at the pictures, then you can answer these questions here, the before reading questions. So just in your group, you can just spend a little time, look at the pictures and answer these before reading questions. So guys, do you know what you're doing? You do? Okay, so are you sure? You guys are awfully quiet. So the thing is, look at the pictures and answer the questions either. You can do it together to get your opinion. So just 1 or 2 minutes, answer these questions. You can do it by talking. The before reading questions, answer by talking to your group members. Hey, there he is. Okay, the man who will tip the scales. So actually, there's the answer. They're yellow. They're yellow in the real book. Okay, and if we talk a little bit about the Sneetches here, so what do these characters, these are called Sneetches, by the way, what do they look like? Yeah, if you look at these, does their shape look like any person or animal that you know of?
They look like geese.
Yeah, they look like geese or ducks, probably. A lot of people say they look like that. We know they're yellow or should be yellow. We don't have to worry about this one. And nonsense words, we have words in English like slam. And then there's a slam dunk, but the original slam, if I take my book and I hit it very hard like this, that's a slam. So a slam is a sound, a big noise. And how about boink? Boink. Yeah, if I take a beach ball, I throw it and it hits my head like this, it goes boink. So these are they're nonsense words, but they mean sounds. And then there's other kinds of nonsense words, but let's talk about the vocabulary from this one, thars. In the story, they keep saying thars. There's no word thars. This means, so every time they say thars, stars upon theirs, they mean theirs. They're just making a funny word, a nonsense word. Snoot is a real word. If I walk around with my snoot in the air like this one, what is this feeling? I walk around like this. Oh, hi, how are you today? What is the feeling if I walk around like this? I look cocky, arrogant. Oh, I'm from Hanyang University. Ah, I'm so good. Thank you. Hanyang. Yes, excuse me. Hanyang teacher coming through. Make way. I'm from Hanyang. Like this one. So snoot in the air means you're arrogant. The same thing if you're snooty. Snooty, arrogant, nasty. You think you're better. And the word snort is like this one. Snort like a pig. It could be good or bad. Like this one. Snort. And then a Frankfurter is a sausage or hot dog. Frankfurter roast, you can see the Sneetches are cooking hot dogs on the fire. They're having a party, cook the hot dogs and eat the hot dogs, and then moping. So the word mope, it's your vacation when you're a teenager. You don't go out, you just watch TV and lie around the house and do nothing. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do anything. So that's moping. You're wasting your time being unhappy and grumpy and useless, moping. And clonk. So the word clonk, maybe like a noisy machine. You go to the coffee machine, the cup comes down, maybe clonk, like this one. So clonk and boink, they're just, it sounds like a machine is making clonk, 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 like that one. Burk is the same. It's a nonsense word. If you think about the machine, clonk, 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 burk, 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 sounds like a machine. And eaches. So you each will get your exam later. Here they say eaches. There's no word eaches. It's kind of broken grammar, but the author does this on purpose. It's kind of for fun to make a rhyme, so it's broken grammar. And then chappy, there's the word chap, which just means a guy, a person, a bloke, something like this one. So chappy just means guy. So we can turn to Sneetches, and just the first page of the book, Sneetches, choose one person in your group, read only the first page out loud. So each group choose one person. The person will read only the first page out loud so you can hear. There you go. Now the star-belly Sneetches had bellies. Now the star-belly Sneetches, like this one, so it's a poem. The whole thing is a very long poem. So it's da-da, 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 da-da. It has that sing-song feeling. So we do have time. So I'll read it out loud. Just read along while I do this one. So from the first page, 281, just read, and I'll read at the same time. So just listen and read along. Now the star-belly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big, they were really so small, you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly Sneetches would brag were the best kind of sneetch on the beaches, with their snoots in the air. They would sniff and they'd snort, will have nothing to do with the plain belly sort. And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You only could play if your bellies had stars, and the plain-belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly Sneetches had Frankfurter roasts, or picnics, or parties, or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-belly Sneetches. They left them out cold in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near. And that's how they treated them, year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-belly Sneetches were moping and doping alone on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My friend," he announced, in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed, and my work is 100% guaranteed." Then, quickly, Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like a star-belly Sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right aboard." So they clambered inside. Then the big machine roared, and it clonked, and it bonked, and it jerked, and it burked, and it bopped them about. But the thing really worked. When the plain belly Sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars from the start. We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties. And now we can go to your Frankfurter parties. Good grief, groaned the ones who had stars at the first. We're still the best Sneetches, and they are the worst. But now, how in the world will we know? They all frowned. If which kind is what, or the other way round. Then up came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, things are not quite as bad as you think, so you don't know who's who. That is perfectly true. But come with me, friends. Do you know what I'll do? I'll make you, again, the best Sneetches on beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches. Belly stars are no longer in style, said McBean. What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like Sneetches who have them on theirs. And that handy machine, working very precisely, removed all the stars from their tummies quite nicely. Then, with snoots in the air, they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. We know who is who, now there isn't a doubt. The best kind of Sneetches are Sneetches without. Then, of course, those with stars all got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into his star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you probably guess, things really got into a horrible mess. All the rest of that day, on those wild, screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches, off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines, they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money. They kept running through until neither the plane nor the star bellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one, or which one was that one, and what one was who. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up, and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They never will learn. Nope, you can't teach a Sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong. I'm quite happy to say that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day, all the Sneetches forgot about stars, and whether they had one or not upon theirs. Okay, so that's the Sneetches. So we have these after reading questions. You can do this. Yeah, okay, so maybe spend a couple minutes, 5 minutes, do these questions by yourself. Then when I tell you, you can do these in your group. So first time, just do it by yourself. 5 minutes.
They are in relationship.
Anybody?
plastic surgeons?
Yeah, so that's the most common answer. A lot of people say he's a plastic surgeon. People who want to go from being normal to being beautiful, he can fix people's nose and their eyes and their bodies, whatever. So that's one possibility. Lots of other possibilities as well. So that's good. A plastic surgeon is very common. Lots of other answers. That's a good one. Okay, so we'll move on here. Any other questions about the story? No? Okay, so let's have another vote. And whether we have our final exam next week or in 2 weeks, what we'll do is we'll talk about the chocolate war, the last two parts of the chocolate war, the ugly duckling, the sulky wife, Guess How Much I Love You, the King and the Moon, the Sneetches, plus Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. We didn't read it in class, but you should read this for homework before our exam. And then we don't have time to talk about it, but that's okay. It's pretty easy, and that's it's right here. It's the story of the donkey and the donkey family. And a pebble is just a small rock. That's what that one's about. So let's vote one more time. So about our final exam, who wants to have their final exam next week? 다음주, next week. Okay, good. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ah. Okay, and somebody might not vote for fear of their lives. Okay, and who would like to have their final exam in 2 weeks? 2 weeks. Poop. Okay, done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so the deciding vote. Okay, good. So this changes things a little bit. So this means that all this is true, but instead of just for the final next week, we can read this one, and we'll talk about it this next week, and we can do 2 more readings. That's good news, so you can have more to study for your test. So forget about this one. Next week, regular class, 1 more class, and then the 19th we'll have our final exam. And yes? Oh, you had your hand up. Oh, I thought you had a question. Okay, good. So any questions? Yes?
The last 2 parts of the chocolate
Of,
does that mean that we don't have to study the whole chapter?
yeah, so for the chocolate war, we did the first part on the midterm exam. So the final exam will only be after the midterm exam. So anything from the first test will not be on the final exam. Yeah, that's a very good question. Anything else? Okay, so let me check. Yes,
Please give us the detailed pages.
Sure, right, Okay, about the chocolate war?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that exactly so we know, because we didn't finish reading the whole thing, I think. All right, so let me check one more time. And Kevin is here.